everyone will be alright if I'm not live by satellite. It's a beautiful day, I'm running away. Don't bother to Facebook, message, or call.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Filmbox Podcast. Back and better than ever. We didn't have to try this one again. So we're already starting better than we did the last episode. I'm your host, Aaron Souza. I'm joined by the same old crowd. It's Connor Jameson and Sam Majewski. How you guys doing?
Howdy.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right. Dude, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, so it's been an interesting couple weeks since we last recorded and put out an episode. To say the least, it's been a bit wild. But we're gonna go talk about a whole bunch of stuff that's gone on within the film industry. But first, before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta talk about what we've been watching lately. Connor, what have you seen since the last time we recorded?
I've been on I don't even know how to describe it, but so saw Scream 6. Finally, I told you guys. I think I told you guys what happened with the glasses situation. Maybe that was the lost episode, but
probably the lost. I love that. It's the lost episode.
Saw that was pretty good. Boston Strangler on Hulu. That's pretty good. I don't know why my heater just keeps turning on and off randomly. A little sketched out.
It's all the horror movies.
Yeah. Well, from two good movies, I immediately jumped into shit. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Ew. Finally
got around to that. That movie is atrociously bad. Saw the Children of the Corn remake, reboot, sequel, whatever. Also pretty hot dookie.
I can't believe you actually watched that. Like, I mentioned it on a whim. I was like, oh, hey, this is the thing. And you're like, all right, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I was bored. I had free time. I was like, yeah, pop it on. But it was all worth it because it was a nice palate cleanse. I watched all 4 John Wick movies in one day. And
you watched them all in one day?
All one day, one sitting.
Holy Jesus, dude.
I did the math. 8 3/4 hours I spent on that franchise.
Good God.
And it's worth it. That is some of the best movies made this century.
Wild. I can't tell you how disappointed I am that Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was just as bad as it was.
We knew it was going to be bad. Right. I was hoping it would be like fun bad, but nah. It's just bad.
Straight garbage.
Yeah. It's funny because I did a review for it if you want to check that out.
Yeah, plug the website.
What's it called again?
Oh my God, no. It's the filmboxreviews.com.
I always forget if there's a the in there.
It's there.
There's one scene where a girl got her head run over by a car that they just cruise at like 2 miles an hour. And they didn't put in like any sort of score for when they find her body. So they're just like, oh my God. And it's just perfectly quiet. It's so fucking bad.
Nice. Oh boy, they ran out of money for the score. Sam, what about you? What have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy the last couple weeks. Haven't really had much time to watch any movies, but the Hunger Games franchise has just been added to Netflix, so I watched the first one, and apparently it's getting taken off on the 31st, so I might squeeze in the rest of them before then. And then I've also been rewatching / finishing up the Walking Dead series too. I binged it until like season 8 or something like that when it was coming out, and then I stopped because it wasn't good, but
yeah, because it got real bad.
It got real bad. So I've been watching. I'm on season 10 right now, so I'm almost finished that.
Yeah, I never started The Walking Dead because I was like, I always wanted to be like, all right, I'll just wait for it to wrap up and I'll watch the complete story. And then it got to a point where I kept hearing like, this season is the worst it's ever been, and then the next season came out. I was like, this season's the worst it's ever been, and then the next season, I just got to a point where I was like, nah, I'm sorry, I'm not. It might not, like, people say it's worth it for the first few seasons, but if Game of Thrones taught me anything, it's not.
Well, I was going to bring up it could compare it a lot to Game of Thrones, right? So first 5, 6, maybe 7 seasons of Walking Dead is probably my top 3, top 5, if not 3 TV shows of all time. But yeah, the last few seasons are just not as up to par, but I'm still gonna finish them.
Yeah. Wow.
And
You're
then
gonna champion it out.
yeah, I mean, I'm already almost done, so
Might as well.
and then they actually released a teaser for a new series in the Walking Dead series.
Oh God.
The Walking Dead universe. So there's like 3 spin-off series right now. So
Jesus.
I was gonna say, didn't they just like release one like a year ago or something?
yeah, so there's Fear the Walking Dead. That was a few years ago. And then there's another one. And then there's one coming out like this summer or something like that.
Wild. And there's the video game. So.
And there's a video game. And then the last thing I want to talk about is what I have started / planning on doing for the remainder of this year. I am going to be going through all the IMDb top 100 movies. Pick them at random, watch it, rate it. Probably after like 5 or 10 of them, I'll write an article or something like that about it. See which ones I like best. And maybe at the end of the year, I'll rate them 1 through 100 and see how I like them.
That would be absolutely crazy to have the definitive film box list of the IMDb top 100.
So right now, I've started with 2 out of 100. 2% right
Great
now.
progress.
2% right now.
You keep it up at this rate, you'll be done in 2028.
But I have started with two great movies. 2001: A Space Odyssey and Spirited Away. So
What I'm curious about is not how many great movies you see, but how many movies you think are terrible that are in the top 100.
That's why I wanted to do this. Like, are these all
Yeah.
like 5-star movies, or are they like just
Some are okay, some are
So stay tuned for that. More will come out with that next month and stuff like that. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, so you can be you can see those articles when Sam writes them and posts them. There's a brand new section on the website on the homepage called Ongoing Series, where you'll have that. You'll have my series on ChatGPT, and I'm asking it to do a whole bunch of random stuff, like writing movie scripts for Cocaine Bear. That was fun. And then my next one, I'll tease a little bit. There's a movie anniversary, a 35th anniversary coming up on March 31st for a particular Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder film that Connor, your look of
I have no
confusion.
idea what movie
It's
that is.
Beetlejuice, my guy.
Oh. Whoops. I forgot that he was in there.
Yeah. He was Beetlejuice.
I saw that movie at a point where I just didn't know actors.
Fair enough.
I still don't know actors, but
yeah. So that article will be coming out on the 31st. So just be on the lookout for that. That was a fun one. It was kind of interesting. But apart from that, what I have been watching, I saw Boston Strangler as well as Connor, which was a fun movie. I saw
fun's the
Chang.
right word, but
Well, it was a good movie.
it's a
I
good
really
movie.
liked it.
It's not fun watching 13 women get strangled.
This is true. It was. It was a good movie. I really liked the journalism aspect of it and how it focused on that side of things versus like the crime detective stuff, which was really cool. I saw Chank and Dunk, which was a great Disney Plus original. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. I saw Cocaine Bear. Unfortunately,
Didn't like it?
I hated Cocaine Bear. It was so bad. It was it was fun for some of the kills, but they just really lost the focus. They tried to make it a good movie. And you can tell.
You can't do that with the premise
No.
like that. You just gotta try to make it as fun as possible.
Yeah. But I hated it so much that the same day I needed such a palate cleanse that I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once again. Which was it was bad enough. Went to the theaters, had my first AMC dine-in experience. Watching Moving On with Jade Fonda, which was like a mixed bag, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, but you ate like a king, I bet.
Well, I ate food. That's what
You
happened.
ate movie theater food.
It was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I did the chicken bacon mac and cheese, and it was actually pretty good. So, and I didn't die later. I didn't feel like I feel like I needed to die. So,
You know, if it's putting your butt back in the theater, I think it's working.
yeah. But by far the best movie of 2023, and this is a definitive, hands down best movie so far. I'm even though Connor might have something to say about that. Pinball: The Man Who Saved the Game is. I watched it. Absolutely amazing biopic. It is one of my favorite movies that I've seen in like the recent history. Definitely my favorite of 2023 so far. It was really good. I mean, it's not on the level of like in Everything Everywhere or, you know, some of those movies, but like within the past year or so, I've only seen a few movies that made me as happy as that one. So check it out.
Will do.
Boy, well, we got through that. So now it's time to get to the news, and there's a lot of it. Connor, you want to bring us through a couple of these news points?
Yeah, so I guess some of the lighter stuff that we can get through quick.
The lightheartedness.
Let's not say it like that. So first up, Lance Reddick passed away.
Oh,
The 17th.
how lighthearted.
Yeah, there's no good way to segue into this, but
Yeah,
it sucks.
it is sad.
He is a phenomenal actor. He was in all the John Wicks. He was in it was like the Resident Evil show, but I think he's most known for being in The Wire. I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also in he played the commander in the Destiny games.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, it is very sad, and he's truly missed for sure. So,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
Rest in peace, indeed.
And we're also saying rest in peace to another, not another man, but another man's filmography.
Horrible transition. God damn. Todd Fields.
I am on a heater tonight. Let's go.
No, you are in the biggest slump I've ever seen. Like, you're on your way to play for the Guangdong Tigers at this rate. Todd Fields, director of Tar, I think it was in an interview, but he's stepping away from directing. He was Tar. I know I've made my feelings known. It's not a real enjoyable movie for the layman, but no, he was a pretty good director, I would say. He kind of leaves the door open, but Tar's probably going to be the last movie he makes.
Yeah, I mean, look, Todd Field hasn't made a ton of movies. He's a great director when he does make movies, but he's extremely sought after for commercial directing. He makes a ton of commercials, and he makes a lot of money off of that. So he's probably just gonna like roll up, direct some commercials, then retire for good, and he'll be all set. You know, when you have that luxury, you don't need to. I mean, directing a movie is a huge undertaking. Like, that's not an easy task.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, so directing a commercial could be like 1-2 days of work. You know, maybe 3 if you have a more in-depth one.
if it makes him happy, gets him the
Yeah.
bag, good for him. I guess like the last bit of news before we head into our heavy hitters. I guess we could end it on a positive note. Tommy Wiseau, famous
Yes.
for making The Room, one of the best, worst movies ever made, is back. He's directed the trailer for his next movie called Big Shark dropped. And this movie is getting a theatrical run starting April 2nd. Now, this trailer is atrociously bad.
It's so bad. It's so
It is terrible.
fucking bad.
But I'm gonna go see it. I pray to God that it's playing in the theater I go to, because this
It won't.
it for sure won't. I love me some shark movies. We've made it.
Yeah,
known I
as
do
as
like
you
sharks.
famously know, Connor's a big shark guy.
If you have learned one thing about me in our time here, I got a soft spot for the Sharkies.
Good old sharkies.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait for that.
It looks awful. It looks so bad, but boy, is it gonna make some money just because it's Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. And maybe James Franco will make another parody movie of it.
The Disaster Artist 2. Big Shark Addiction. Addiction, yeah.
The bigger shark.
The Shark Artist. All right, so last week we talked a little bit about some Lucasfilm stuff and some of their issues. We got some updates, so let's just real quick touch on that. Lucasfilm has announced they've announced that they're announcing 3 movies at Star Wars Appreciation Day. Sure, I'll believe it when I see it. Honestly, if you're not aware, Star Wars has been on. Speaking of being on a heater, Star Wars has been on a heater for announcing projects and then canceling them 2 years later. They literally they canceled. Oh, who was it?
Kevin Feige, Patty Jenkins.
Yes. Both of those films got canned. One of their other films, like a major, I don't know if it was the director or the writer, one of those major creators, just left the project. That was recent. Star Wars is having a rough time, and it's been brutal. But apparently Disney's focusing on it because, according to Disney, they have axed the Indiana Jones prequel series on Disney Plus so that they can focus on Star Wars, which makes no sense to me, but whatever.
You're putting all your bread into one basket, all your eggs into one basket. Sorry.
Yeah, I have mixed reviews. I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah. What do you?
So, I think they're overdoing it with the Star Wars stuff. It's all.
I agree.
In my opinion, it's all a money grab right now, and it's turned in Star Wars has turned into a money grab ever since Disney bought it.
I
wonder why.
They've milked that cash cow
and
dry.
They have not expanded on Indiana Jones at all, right?
Yeah.
So last was King of the Crystal Skull. They came out with
Awful.
a couple of the Lego games, and they're coming out with the new Ubisoft game, I think. Soon.
That I'm not sure.
Yes, they are. I know that they teased it, I think, a couple of years ago, at E3 or something like that. But they are coming out with another game. But again, and then I go back.
We've
on
got
that.
the new movie.
Yeah. Oh, and then the new movie
indie
coming
movie
out
this year.
Yeah. So again, I go back on that, saying that they shouldn't really ruin the great franchise as it is.
Yeah.
Raiders, one of the best movies of all time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom was even better and brought us Ki Hui Kwan.
You thought Temple of Doom was better?
Well, no, I don't. I wouldn't say. All right, that's not necessarily.
It just
set
set
up
up
but like,
his key talking point.
Yeah.
Which, hey, we could spend an entire pod talking about him, and I would not be upset.
Ki Hui Kwan, dude, we should try and get an interview with him.
No shot.
Can you imagine? I'll send an email.
Yeah, pull some strings.
Yeah, I'll pull some strings. I got industry connections. No, I don't. But I will say, like, to your point, Star Wars really, they have bled it so hard, and like only recently have there been some really interesting IPs and original ideas. Like The Mandalorian is a cool idea, and I'm really glad that Favreau and Dave Filoni are helming that. I would love to see them expand into a different era, different story.
Yeah.
But like there's an animated TV show now for every era of Star Wars. There's movies, they've done TV shows, they've done, it's just a lot.
That's why I really want to see, like, the Old Republic and
Yeah.
thousands of years before the Skywalker saga, and see what we can expand on that, because that's a whole new set of things. Like when they work within the Skywalker saga, that you have to take into account, like you have to, like, you can't leave loopholes, and you can't, like,
Right.
stuff like that. So
You have to be like very like specific on how you approach things. And it just becomes like, okay, whatever.
I was going to ask you guys, where do you think that, if they're announcing 3 movies, where do you actually think that they take them? Like, do you think that they try another, like, Rogue One, like, filling in a gap between, like, 2 different stories? Or do you think that they do just take something completely...
I think that they go high. At least one will go High Republic era, because that's been like Disney's focus on like the novel side of things has been the High Republic, which is a whole new era. Like with young Yoda, so like probably about 500 years before a New Hope, or five to six. No, probably about 600 years before A New Hope. I would say. That's my bet for at least one of the movies. The others, who knows?
do you want to know what I want to see, or what I think is going to happen?
I would love to know what you want, because I don't care what they think is right for...
I think they need to... I think 2 out of the 3 movies needs to be hundreds of years before, is it the Mandalorian Wars, the Hyperspace Wars, anything like that, like in the extended universe. And I do want to see a young Palpatine movie.
Interesting.
Like with him and like Darth Plagueis before Episode 1. I do want to see that, to expand his story a little bit, but
I would love to see a movie about the Yuuzhan Vong from the sequels books.
Yep. Or like
We're getting really in the weeds on Star Wars stuff,
You
Connor.
you guys
We're getting
lost me a while ago, but like...
we're getting really in the weeds on that. Like we're talking about legacy stuff that's not canon anymore.
Yeah.
But, since you brought him up, I can totally see them making a movie about what happened in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
It's gonna be Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
And Rise of Skywalker.
Guys, I'm lost. I'm sorry.
Maybe we should move on.
No, I could definitely see them making a movie where because Rise, I forgot it already. Starts
Return
with
of the Jedi.
the last
Rise of Skywalker.
The last one they made.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker starts
My God.
with them just saying, "Hey, Palpatine's back." I could see them making a movie like, "All right, here's how he came back."
So I mean, it wasn't really like they explained how he came back in actually if you played the Star Wars Battlefront remake single player story mode, you'd know exactly how he came back.
And for people who don't, I could see them making a movie.
He basically set up an order if he were to die, he had a whole bunch of clones of himself that were like ready to go. And then like, I don't know if it was like through experimentation or whatever, but like the Palpatine that we get in Rise of Skywalker is like the last iteration of those like clones.
And they do explain
that
it.
he had
They do
created.
explain it in the Mandalorian too.
Yeah, they're starting to. Yeah.
The reason why they were going after Grogu is because they wanted to take his Force and make like new shit. So
I see.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's out of my
It's very
depths.
in the weeds.
It's
like
way
I
out of my
said.
depths.
Yeah, you are operating with not in your territory.
I'm a 3-year-old who you just put in like a manual car and it's like, hey, I need you to drive me to the airport.
All right, well, we've got some other stuff to talk about away from Star Wars.
We could stay within Disney though.
Okay, let's stay within Disney with our good old friends at Marvel. It has been so. If you've been following this podcast, or if you know anything about Marvel at all, you would know that they've had a rough time on the VFX side of things. And so,
what are you talking about? MODOK was amazingly.
you're a funny guy. No, so with that, it was just announced last week that Victoria Alonso, who's the Marvel president of physical, post-production, VFX, and animation, so a very high up executive, was ousted from her position. She was let go, which caused like pretty big controversy. And a lot of people, a lot of VFX artists who worked for her, and as freelancers, said that it was an extremely toxic workplace environment. That she was basically like hand picking projects to give to certain people, and if she didn't like you or your team, then you were blacklisted from ever working in the industry. And this was a woman that had that kind of pull. So they're saying that it wasn't necessarily because of those workplace accusations, but Disney has said that it was because she basically breached her contract and worked. She was a producer on Argentina 1985, which is a good movie. A good movie, but a no thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then was told to not promote the film, and she did that. She was promoting it even after they told her to stop. And so they said, you know what, you're gone. Which, like, no shit. Apparently, though, her lawyer is claiming that it's because she's a gay Latina woman that she was fired from her role and scapegoated. It's like, sure, okay. I don't know how far we want to get into that because I have some opinions on that sort of like explanation from her lawyer, but
it's just so. Even if it's not true, like she got fired because of the way that the VFX team was treated, which, if we're being honest, with everything that the actual artists were saying, like
it's bad
themselves, yeah, it was bad. So if it's not the reason she was fired, I'm sure it was still happening. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense too, because like once it came out that like there were these toxic workplace habits in place, there was a couple people who were like, oh, no, like it was fine, which kind of fits into the narrative that if you were on her good side, you were getting work.
Right.
But
as Disney explains, if it's for that reason, you're working on another film, like, I'll explain it this way. I work for a media company, all right? We deal with freelancers, but we also deal with contracted employees. If you're a freelancer, you're free to go wherever. Freelance reporters can write for whatever publication they want. If you're a contracted employee of a media corporation or any corporation, you cannot go and work on another movie. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Like it is expressly written in my contract that I do not, I have a no compete clause. I cannot, do things. I cannot go work for another company that does exactly what my company does and like compete against each other. I will get fired for that. If our president started working at the Boston Globe and doing this stuff for them, he'd be let go. He wouldn't be kept on. It's like you have a responsibility as an executive of any company, but especially in a media company, to solely work for your company and dedicate your time to that. And if she's lucky that they asked her to stop first, because they could have easily just said, this is a major breach of contract, you're fired. And then just to turn around and say like, no, I'm not going to stop working on this movie, or I'm not going to stop promoting this movie, get fired, and then say, well, it's because I'm gay, I'm a gay Latina woman that they fired me, is just, it's pathetic. It's a gross, negligent, it's like you can't own up to your own mistakes.
Yeah. Like obviously she's Argentinian. Obviously this is a project that means a lot to her.
Right.
I do see like there is some conflicting reports whether or not she did get permission to work on it, which I think is ultimately what it's going to come down to, if this is a successful rebuttal or not.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like, like you work for your company and you have you have those rules in place. If you think that a company like on the scale of Disney is not having stricter policies against it,
right?
Like you probably have to go through layers and layers of permission to be able to do this.
And if it's expressly written that they have a no compete clause, they're not just going to be like, yeah, go for it. Especially if you're an executive. It's just, I hate, it's like that GIF that you see. It's like, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Yes, the tweet is like me reaping, hell yeah, this is awesome. Me sowing, oh man, what the fuck.
It's just, yeah, it's bad.
I mean, she'll land on her feet, obviously, with the
someone
success
will
that
hire her.
Argentina 1985 had.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's nothing against the movie, and like nothing against her wanting to work on a film like that. If it's
the
very much a
process.
passion thing for her. Like, if you were freelancing, great. You can't do it under contract. I don't care, how much of a passion project it is. If you're competing, you either resign your position and work for that and, become a freelance producer, or you don't do it. Simple as that.
I do wonder if, in the aftermath of this, whoever they bring in to replace her in that position, I do wonder if we hear about the conditions improving for the VFX team.
It'd be very interesting.
We've already seen them like kind of reel back the amount of projects they want to put out in a given year, which obviously should help.
Hopefully.
But yeah,
we'll see.
You do hope that with that they are also working on giving people enough time to finish their projects. They're paying them their due worth and all this. Like, it's a good chance to start fresh and kind of rehabilitate.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that in the new Guardians, because that comes out in a month and a half.
Yeah, I think everything that's finished is...
Yeah.
We'll probably see it, though, for, like, maybe next year's films.
Yeah, anything that hasn't started or...
Maybe the Marvels, too, I don't know, because that comes out later this year.
That could be. They're probably still working on that, so...
Yeah, well, because her role was post-production, so... I think even if they've already started filming, they could start implementing some changes.
Or we'll see more projects get pushed back,
Yeah.
That's true, too.
Which, you know what? Do it. Like, make us wait, make us like excited for release again.
Yep. That's the one thing that I've had a problem with Marvel recently. It's like there's no build up to the excitement. It's like, okay, I saw this movie, can't wait for the next one. Oh, the next one's out. All right, saw it. No, all right, now I gotta wait for the next one's out.
Here's
All
a
right.
TV show in between these.
Yeah, right. And then while you're waiting, while you're to cleanse your palate, we'll give you a little TV show as well. It's like, all right, bro, just chill.
Well, that's a point that I do want to bring up too. Is like, we see this in the video game industry. Also, you see games and movies get delayed, and people complain about that. Like, oh, why don't you just come out right now? Well, would you rather have a finished project be a year, like, pushed back, or would you rather have a half-assed project right now, and like, and then you're just gonna complain about how buggy it is, how bad the sci-fi or the visual effects is, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not that big of a gamer, but that is something I've read about like almost immediately, especially with like Call of Duty, like these games I just like Madden 2Ks, they just pump out like one every year. It's just like, okay, you just had to hit a deadline. Like this game is like unplayable for the first like couple weeks.
Yeah, the amount of times that a like major week 1 patch is used because the game is broken on release is it's absurd. It's ridiculous.
And you see that in the movies too.
Yeah. Week 1 patch. here's the new release.
Literally like the Thor Love and Thunder, that the kid who just looked absolutely atrocious, like the effects, and I think it was the middle of the run, they released an edit so it didn't look as bad.
That's bad.
Oh, they did that with Sonic too. Remember when Sonic first came out?
Yeah, I do remember Sonic.
In the trailer, and they changed his
Ugly Sonic.
Oh, ugly Sonic. Man, what a legend. The fact that they, have you guys seen Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers from last year?
No, but I know that he's in it.
They put Ugly Sonic in it, and
Nice.
it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. All right, well, from one fantastic comic book franchise to another, Connor, you want to hit this next one?
So, Shazam 2 was released this past month, week, whatever. It's not doing too hot.
It made $2 million last weekend.
Yeah. No matter how many posts or videos Zach Levi wants to make about why you should see that instead of John Wick 4, it's not doing too hot. We're starting to see a peek behind the curtains about how Dwayne Johnson is he was trying to, force a coup on DC and make himself like the center of the universe. So before, so I guess some backstory, at least with the characters. So he plays Black Adam. Recently, he had his own movie come out, which kind of mediocre.
It was bad.
Compared to like other comic book movies that have been put out, it was fine, but like nothing great. And his character is like a known enemy of Shazam, who Zach Levi plays. He went out of his way to make sure that Zach Levi was nowhere near his project, like that these two characters never met. That's why instead he got Henry Cavill involved, and we saw how that played out for the both of them.
Yep.
Henry Cavill's just getting screwed this year.
Yeah, it's been a rough one for Mr. Cavill, but like, I mean, I get it. At least on a Superman standpoint, like I get the reboot of the franchise. It's like, okay, we're resetting it. It's not going to be the same, And now that we know that like it was The Rock who was like, no, he's being in my movie, it's kind of shitty because then it's like, well, Cavill came back as a tease for Superman, and then he's
Before
gone
he knew.
again.
Yep, he's gonna
Yeah.
get.
Amidst all the changes too, like it was, the writing was on the wall that no one was guaranteed to be there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just wanted to make Black Adam first Superman a thing, and they were told it was not going to be a thing.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of crazy that he had as much say as he did in that, which is probably part of the reason that like DC as it was failing.
Yeah.
But like then he's like, you know, putting his own like pleasures and his own
Ambitions.
like personal wants, and not even, I wouldn't even say ambitions. It's like he just wanted it. He wanted to be the center of the universe. And it's like, bro, that's not how it works. You know, you don't think that like Jeremy Renner would love to be the center of Marvel? No. I mean, of course he would, but like Hawkeye's never going to be the center of the Marvel universe. So like stop it.
It's just one of those things where you kind of have to just know the role of the person. Like, if you're going to become a character, you got to know their role.
Yeah.
Like, if he was Superman, obviously, he could do what he wants, but not Black Adam.
Yep. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely it I mean, I don't know how much it hurt Shazam, you know, being in a post-credit scene or anything like that, but hurt the new movie because it's failing regardless. But like, yeah, it's just a sign of the times, a sign of the state of that universe.
Yeah. I mean, now that we're starting to see a bunch of like the Flash trailers, and I don't know if we talked about it, how Tom Cruise got a copy of The Flash and said it was like the greatest movie he's ever seen.
Which is wild, and I'm very upset about it.
Like, this movie has to be just like the perfect movie for anything to work. Like, I got a lot of faith in James Gunn. I know a lot of people don't, but I think he cooks with these comic book movies. They need to like just have something work. And Shazam was not it.
No, definitely.
No sir, Bob.
It's slowly going in the right direction now with, you know, the release of the Batman, and then apparently the Flash is extremely good too. So
yeah, and
this whole
the
DC universe,
Joker 2 is starting to get some leaks.
Yeah.
We shall see.
If only that stuff was in their main universe.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so that's gonna bring us to our last topic for this episode. But it has to do with AI. Our friends, our
friends.
computer friends.
Don't lump me in there. I'm fucking terrified of it.
So the Writers Guild seemed to have like released an approval of AI generated scripts, saying like, hey, you know, we'll let AI write scripts as long as it's, you know, as long as the writers keep credit and residuals and stuff like that, which is a wild take to have, especially for the WGA. And then the very next day said, no, we're gonna ban it.
No, it's banned.
It's banned.
Yeah, it's just even to get deeper into the timeline of it. March 21st at 7:41. That's when it was like, okay, they might allow it. The next day, March 22nd at 2 in the afternoon, they're like, oh, hell no, it's banned.
Yeah. I mean, I think that conversation of whether AI could be used is a much bigger conversation. It's definitely not there yet, but I think that it has definite like capabilities. Like, it has promise. And I think it would be really cool to see a movie where, like, we know that the script was written by an AI. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty novelty. I don't know how good it would be. But it's just wild that they would be like, yeah, this is a thing. You know, we could allow it. And then they're like, nah, we're not going to allow it.
Well, I'm surprised like it was even up for debate. Because if you have studios are in the business of profits above else. They don't care if they're making a bad movie, but it will make them money, they will put it out 10 times out of 10 over a good movie where they lose money. I 1000% see a situation happening where they use AI, they create a script, and like the writers that they have don't like how it worked, and then being like, all right, well, you guys are fired. I'm gonna hire these guys to just revise it a bit for like half of what I'm paying you, and they're gonna get the credit now. Like, it just sets up this environment where they become much more replaceable.
Yep. They could always be like, hey, thanks for the script. We're gonna take it and put it through AI and have it generate something totally different.
Yeah. I think it's gotta be a slap in the face too.
Yeah.
Like if
Plus,
you're like a career writer.
It's like it's the Writers Guild of America.
Exactly.
Like it is a guild that protects the writers in Hollywood. And then they're like, well, this could take away their jobs, but
yeah,
as long as they have their credit, it'll be good.
It's literally like the union being like, hey, you guys don't need sick time, right? Like that. You guys are healthy. You guys don't need dental or any sort of insurance.
It'd be like the truckers union being like, we'll allow self-driving cars on the roads as long as the driver still gets credit.
Yeah. If you
like,
you can sit in there and we'll pay you like part time, since you're not actually doing the work anymore.
Yeah. So, that was a very interesting pivot, and how fast that pivot was.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even think it should have been up for debate right now.
Yeah. No, and like I said, AI is not there yet, at all.
No disrespect to like the Cocaine Bear script that you guys pumped out. Not even you. It pumped out.
That AI pumped out. Look, there's a reason that I started a series on it. It's because the scripts are stupid and hilarious.
Yeah. Like, if you're gonna have that and still hire like a writer to like go through, you might as well just keep the writer doing it like full time.
Right.
Like, the only thing AI will probably just cost you time.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, cat.
Yeah. My cat just walked across my screen. But yeah, so I think that's just gonna about cover it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe, follow us on your preferred listening platform, give us a rating, just tell your friends, all that sort of stuff. It helps us out tremendously. It tells us that we're doing something good and that you should be, that you want to keep listening. Also, you can go to our website, thefilmboxreviews.com. You can go check out all of our articles. We've got a lot of articles on there. I think we're almost at 100 total articles. We're getting close, which is kind of crazy in the 3 months that we've been, 4 months really, that we've been doing this. You can check out, you can check out our socials. Those will be linked in the description. And you can check out our Letterboxd profile, so you can see the films that we're watching that we might not have a dedicated article to, or we're not reviewing, but we're watching. We're always watching something, so check those out. And without further ado, This has been another fantastic episode of the Filmbox Podcast. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Message or call me, 'cause I'm living life in airplane mode and everything is okay. I just want to play, unplug for the day.